Adding a specific ingredient to coffee can make a real difference for those who wake up multiple times during the night to go to the bathroom, not because the coffee itself has that effect, but because certain natural components influence how the body regulates the bladder and sleep hours later. I am Dr. Itamori, and for years I have been working with patients who come to my practice exhausted, not due to a lack of hours in bed, but because of constant interruptions to their nighttime sleep. The first ingredient I want to talk about is magnesium, specifically in its glycinate or citrate forms, because when it comes to waking up multiple times during the night to urinate, this mineral is often involved more frequently than people imagine. It is not because it acts directly on the kidneys, but because it influences how the nervous system and muscles respond during nighttime rest. Many people assume that getting up to urinate is always a sign of excess fluids or a urinary problem, but in clinical practice, a different pattern is commonly observed. The patient wakes up, feels a slight discomfort, goes to the bathroom and urinates only a small amount. There was no truly full bladder. What there was, instead, was a body that was not completely relaxed. In that context, magnesium plays a central role. Magnesium is essential for muscle relaxation. Without adequate levels, muscles tend to remain in a state of mild, constant contraction. This includes the detrusor muscle of the bladder, which is responsible for expelling urine. When this muscle is overly reactive, it sends urgency signals even with small volumes of urine, especially at night, when the brain is more sensitive to any internal stimuli. It is important here to understand why I specifically mentioned glycinate or citrate, and not just any form of magnesium. Glycinate is one of the best tolerated and best absorbed forms. Additionally, glycine has a calming effect on the nervous system, which enhances magnesium's impact on rest. Citrate, on the other hand, is also well absorbed and can be helpful for people who also experience slow digestion or mild constipation. When this type of magnesium is taken in the morning, even added to coffee in a small and appropriate amount, it does not interfere with energy or concentration. On the contrary, it helps the nervous system function in a more balanced way throughout the day. This is key because the problem of waking up at night does not start at night, but many hours earlier. Daily stress consumes large amounts of magnesium. Every episode of tension, worry, or mental overload depletes the body's reserves. Over time, this deficiency is not always detected in basic tests, but it manifests with symptoms such as light sleep, frequent awakenings, muscle tension, and increased nighttime bodily sensitivity. In that state, any minimal signal from the bladder is interpreted as a real urgency. Another important point is the link between magnesium and deep sleep quality. Magnesium participates in the regulation of neurotransmitters that allow the brain to transition from a state of alertness to one of true rest. When that process fails, sleep becomes fragmented, and when sleep is fragmented, the likelihood of getting up to use the bathroom increases, even without a clear physiological need. From a practical perspective, many people notice that after several weeks of adequate magnesium intake, the pattern changes. It is not that they stop producing urine at night, but rather that they stop waking up due to minimal stimuli. The body relearns to prioritize rest, and the bladder stops sending unnecessary signals. The dosage is fundamental. We are not talking about high doses. A moderate amount, tailored to each person, is usually sufficient. More magnesium does not mean better results. In fact, excess can cause unwanted digestive effects. That is why I always recommend starting with low amounts and observing the body's response. It is also important to clarify that magnesium does not replace medical treatments when there are clear structural causes, such as prostate problems, urinary tract infections, or kidney diseases. In those cases, the approach must be different. But in people without serious pathologies with functional nighttime awakenings, magnesium can be a simple and effective tool. A less well-known aspect is its influence on the circadian rhythm. Magnesium helps stabilize the production of melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep. When this hormone is released properly, the body enters deeper and more continuous sleep phases. And the deeper the sleep, the less likely a mild bladder signal is to interrupt rest. In consultations, I usually explain that the goal is not to hold in urine, but to restore normal communication between the brain and the body. When that communication works well, the bladder only alerts the brain when it is truly necessary. Magnesium helps recover that balance. Adding magnesium glycinate or citrate to morning coffee in a small and consistent amount can contribute to a more relaxed nervous system, a less reactive bladder, and deeper sleep. It is not a quick trick, but a real physiological support that works throughout the day so that the night is more peaceful. Did you know that magnesium can be a great ally in reducing your nighttime awakenings? Tell me yes or no in the comments, and we'll continue. The second ingredient that we can add to coffee and which has a real impact on nighttime awakenings to urinate is natural cinnamon. I want to clarify something important from the start. We are not talking about a direct effect on the bladder as if it were a medication, but rather a deeper, more intelligent, and longer-lasting action on the body's internal balance. In clinical practice, one of the most common mistakes is thinking that getting up to urinate at night is always a urinary problem. In reality, in a large portion of cases, the origin lies in how the body manages energy, blood sugar, and hormones throughout the day. When that system is disrupted, the night becomes the time when the body tries to correct what it could not regulate during active hours. This is where cinnamon starts to make sense. Cinnamon contains bioactive compounds, especially polyphenols, that improve insulin sensitivity. Put simply, they help glucose enter the cells instead of remaining floating in the blood. When blood sugar stays elevated, the kidneys receive a clear signal. They must eliminate the excess. To do so, they draw in water, which increases urine production. This mechanism does not turn off when we sleep. Many people who wake up multiple times at night to urinate are not diabetic, but they do experience sharp spikes and drops in glucose, especially if they consume refined carbohydrates, hidden sugars, or late dinners. Cinnamon, used consistently and in small amounts, helps smooth out those fluctuations, reducing the body's need to drain fluids during the early morning hours. Another key aspect is the relationship between cinnamon and the autonomic nervous system. Deep sleep requires dominance of the parasympathetic system, the system of rest and repair. When metabolism is altered, the sympathetic system remains active, as if the body were on alert. This causes micro-awakenings, greater perception of the bladder, and a constant sensation of urinary urgency. By improving metabolic control, cinnamon indirectly contributes to lowering the body's nighttime alert state, allowing for more continuous sleep. It is not a sedative. It does not induce sleep artificially, but it does create the internal conditions so that rest is not interrupted by unnecessary signals. Inflammation is another silent factor. Mild, sustained systemic inflammation affects multiple organs, including the bladder. A slightly inflamed bladder becomes more reactive, sending fullness signals even when the urine volume does not justify it. Cinnamon has mild but consistent anti-inflammatory properties that help reduce that bladder irritability over time. Additionally, cinnamon positively influences digestion. Many people do not connect the digestive system with nighttime awakenings, but a slow intestine with excessive fermentation or abdominal distension increases internal pressure in the pelvis. That pressure is transmitted to the bladder and stimulates the urinary reflex. By improving digestion and reducing gas and heaviness, cinnamon decreases one of the physical stimuli that push the body to wake up. From a hormonal perspective, cinnamon also helps modulate cortisol, the stress hormone. Elevated cortisol at night disrupts sleep and increases urine production. When the body manages to maintain a more stable hormonal rhythm, the kidneys reduce their nighttime activity and rest becomes deeper. It is important to insist on the correct way to use it. Commercial cinnamon mixed with sugar, flavored syrups, or processed drinks is not suitable. Those products produce the opposite effect, raising glucose and worsening the problem. The cinnamon must be natural, ideally Ceylon cinnamon, in pure powder or stick form. The amount is small. The goal is not a dominant flavor or a strong stimulus. A low and consistent dose is more effective than large occasional amounts. The objective is not to force the body but to accompany it in a process of regulation. Another benefit that many people notice with regular cinnamon use is a reduction in nighttime thirst. When blood sugar is more stable, the body stops sending constant compensatory thirst signals. This naturally leads to drinking fewer fluids in the hours before rest, without causing dehydration. Less nighttime intake translates to less urine production during the night. It is also important to mention that cinnamon promotes better peripheral circulation. More efficient circulation helps redistribute fluids during the day, preventing the body from having to do so at night, when the legs are at rest. This detail is especially relevant for people who spend many hours sitting or standing. Consistency is key. Cinnamon does not act like an immediate switch. Its effect is progressive and cumulative. In practice, many people begin to notice changes in sleep quality and the frequency of nighttime awakenings after several weeks of regular use, integrated into a stable daily routine. It must be clear that cinnamon does not replace medical treatments in cases of kidney diseases, advanced prostate disorders, or diagnosed endocrine pathologies. In those cases, its role is complementary. But in people with functional imbalances, prediabetes, metabolic stress, or irregular eating habits, it can be a simple and effective tool. Natural cinnamon, added appropriately to coffee, does not act directly on the bladder, but corrects several of the internal factors that force the body to wake up at night. It improves blood sugar control, reduces inflammation, promotes nervous system balance, supports digestion, and contributes to more stable hormonal regulation. All of this creates a physiological environment in which the body no longer needs to interrupt sleep to compensate for metabolic errors, allowing for more peaceful and continuous nights. And subscribe to the channel so that you can be part of our community and not miss any video. Continuing with our topic of how to improve sleep quality and reduce nighttime awakenings to go to the bathroom, the next ingredient we can add to coffee is glycine in powder form. Glycine is a small and versatile amino acid that participates in the synthesis of proteins, neurotransmitters, and collagen, among others. But its most relevant role for our specific goal, reducing the need to get up at night, has to do with its action on the central nervous system and body temperature. Clinical studies have shown that glycine can lower the core body temperature during the night, a critical factor for falling asleep and maintaining deep sleep. Deeper sleep means that the kidneys better regulate urine production and that the bladder receives fewer unnecessary alarm signals. Additionally, glycine has a modulating effect on inhibitory neurotransmitters, particularly GABA, known for its calming action on the nervous system. By enhancing the effects of GABA, glycine helps reduce the activity of the sympathetic system, which is responsible for alertness, and the vigilance mode that many bodies maintain even while sleeping. This reduction in alertness translates into more continuous nights, without interruptions induced by metabolic signals or sensations of urinary urgency. Another important point is glycine's relationship with hepatic glycogen production and blood glucose regulation. Similar to what we discussed with cinnamon, spikes or drops in sugar during the night can stimulate diuresis. Glycine helps stabilize these levels, contributing to the kidneys not receiving the signal to eliminate additional fluids. This is especially useful in people who do not have diagnosed kidney diseases but experience frequent awakenings due to functional imbalances. The recommended dose is low, and this is where practical information is crucial. Between 3 and 5 grams before bed is sufficient to notice the effect without risk of metabolic overload. Glycine is easily found in pure powder form, available in specialized pharmacies, nutritional supplement stores, or even trusted online platforms. It can be dissolved in decaffeinated coffee, plant-based milk, or warm water, depending on each person's tolerance, always ensuring that the beverage does not interfere with absorption. One aspect that often raises doubts is the safety of prolonged use. Glycine, when consumed in the recommended doses, has a very broad safety profile, with studies showing positive effects even in older adults who are more prone to nighttime awakenings and loss of sleep quality. There is no evidence of toxicity with moderate intakes, and the benefits go beyond urinary regulation. It improves tissue repair, promotes collagen synthesis, and can even contribute to cardiovascular health. Furthermore, glycine has an indirect effect on peripheral body temperature. During the night, blood is redistributed and peripheral vessels dilate slightly. This facilitates the kidneys adjusting filtration and reduces the perception of bladder filling. A more stable and deeper sleep, combined with a slight improvement in circulation, contributes to a notable decrease in the need to get up at night. Another factor worth considering is digestion and fluid absorption. Glycine improves intestinal function and facilitates the absorption of water and electrolytes. By optimizing the way the body handles fluids during the night, it reduces pressure on the bladder and prevents sleep from being interrupted by sensations of urinary urgency. Consistency in the use of glycine is fundamental. Unlike a medication with immediate effect, its impact is cumulative. After several nights of regular use, most people notice that the number of awakenings decreases, that the feeling of a heavy body or tired head disappears, and that sleep quality improves in depth and continuity. These changes are not just anecdotal. They are supported by studies showing improvements in sleep latency, sleep efficiency, and reduction of micro-awakenings. It is important to emphasize that glycine is not a diuretic, nor does it act directly on the bladder. Its magic lies in optimizing the internal processes that lead the body to produce urine at unnecessary times. By improving metabolic regulation, body temperature, and nervous system function, glycine creates an environment where the body feels safe to sleep without interruptions, naturally reducing the need to get up multiple times. Another collateral benefit that many users notice is the reduction of nighttime anxiety and accumulated stress. Glycine acts on inhibitory neurotransmitters and decreases neuronal hyperactivity. This not only impacts urinary frequency, but also improves the perception of rest, short-term memory, and the general sense of well-being upon waking. In terms of practical application, the ideal is to take glycine 15 to 30 minutes before the last drink of the night, whether decaffeinated coffee, plant-based milk, or even a small protein shake. Combining it with other relaxing or sugar-stabilizing ingredients, like those we discussed earlier, can enhance the effect without generating dependence or side effects. It should be considered that glycine also promotes the synthesis of collagen and connective tissue, which is beneficial in the long term for the health of internal organs and the skin. Although this is not directly related to reducing the need to urinate, it contributes to an integral bodily balance that enhances the effectiveness of other healthy habits, including fluid regulation and inflammation reduction. Glycine powder is a powerful ally for those seeking more peaceful nights and fewer nighttime interruptions. Its effect is not direct on the bladder, but on the internal regulation of the organism. It stabilizes glucose, improves nervous function, reduces core temperature, promotes fluid absorption, and encourages deep and restorative sleep. Integrated consistently into the nighttime routine, it can be the missing piece to achieve real and continuous rest, without the need to get up multiple times during the night. Continuing with our approach, the next ingredient we can add to your nighttime routine is unflavored hydrolyzed collagen. It is essential to emphasize, as always, that the coffee or the drink itself does not produce the effect, but rather this specific ingredient that can provide real benefits for fluid regulation, tissue repair, and sleep quality. Hydrolyzed collagen is a form of protein that has already been broken down into smaller peptides, which facilitates its intestinal absorption. These collagen peptides are used by the body for multiple functions: tissue regeneration, joint repair, skin strengthening, and what interests us in this context, the regulation of internal organ function and fluid balance. Unlike other protein supplements, collagen has a direct effect on the connective tissue surrounding the kidneys, bladder, and blood vessels, helping to maintain their integrity and optimal functioning during the night. One of the keys to collagen is its ability to promote the synthesis of elastin and other structural proteins that contribute to the elasticity and resistance of tissues. This may seem secondary, but it has a real impact on the sensation of urinary urgency. Strong and flexible connective tissue allows the bladder and blood vessels to maintain their function without generating alarm signals that interrupt sleep. Additionally, collagen contributes to reducing inflammation in internal organs, which indirectly reduces pressure on the bladder and improves nighttime fluid regulation. Hydrolyzed collagen also offers significant benefits for digestion and nutrient absorption. The improvement in the absorption of essential amino acids and minerals has an indirect effect on urine production. When the body efficiently metabolizes nutrients and maintains a proper electrolyte balance, the kidneys receive fewer signals to eliminate fluids unnecessarily, which translates into fewer nighttime awakenings. That is why adding hydrolyzed collagen to your drink before bed can have a cumulative and sustainable effect on sleep quality. An important advantage of unflavored hydrolyzed collagen is its versatility in consumption. It can be easily dissolved in decaffeinated coffee, plant-based milk, or even warm water without altering the taste of the drink. This allows it to be incorporated into the nighttime routine without the intake feeling uncomfortable or unpleasant. The usual recommended dose for adults is 10 to 15 grams per night, which ensures the body receives a sufficient amount of peptides to promote tissue repair and internal regulation without exceeding safe protein levels. In addition to the effects on the bladder and urine production, hydrolyzed collagen has a positive impact on deep sleep. Studies have shown that adequate intake of amino acids and collagen peptides can improve sleep efficiency, decrease micro-awakenings, and promote a feeling of restorative rest. This effect is related to the optimization of metabolism. During the night, tissue repair, and the modulation of neurotransmitters, all factors that contribute to more continuous and uninterrupted sleep. Another benefit to highlight is the synergy of collagen with other nutrients we have mentioned in previous sections, such as glycine and magnesium. These components work complementarily. Glycine helps relax the nervous system and reduce core temperature, while collagen provides the necessary structural building blocks for tissues and organs to function optimally. Combined, they create a more stable and efficient internal environment, decreasing the need to get up during the night. It is important to mention that hydrolyzed collagen is especially useful in older adults, who often experience a progressive loss of connective tissues and a higher frequency of nighttime awakenings. Its regular consumption can strengthen joints, skin, blood vessels, and internal organs, which not only contributes to better urinary regulation, but also to overall long-term well-being. Another aspect to consider is the interaction with nighttime hydration. While we sleep, the distribution of fluids in the body changes. An adequate supply of hydrolyzed collagen contributes to tissues retaining water efficiently and organs better regulating their function. This reduces peaks in pressure on the bladder and prevents the activation of urgency signals that interrupt sleep. For those seeking to maximize the benefits, it is recommended to consume collagen consistently every night. Its effect is cumulative. After several weeks of regular intake, most people notice fewer sleep interruptions, a lighter body sensation, and greater recovery upon waking. This confirms that collagen does not act like a medication with immediate action, but as a supplement that improves internal physiology in a progressive and natural way. It is worth emphasizing that unflavored hydrolyzed collagen is safe for most adults, with very few contraindications. It does not generate dependence, does not irritate the bladder, and integrates easily into the daily diet. Its combination of structural, metabolic, and regulatory effects makes it an essential ally for those seeking to sleep better, reduce the need to get up to urinate, and maintain the health of tissues and organs throughout the night. Unflavored hydrolyzed collagen is not just another protein. It is a powerful internal regulator that improves the function of organs, tissues, and vessels, optimizing fluid distribution and sleep quality. Its integration into the nighttime routine, along with other ingredients already discussed, can be the key piece to achieving continuous restorative nights without interruptions, allowing the body to rest completely and efficiently. Which of all these ingredients are you most familiar with? Leave your answer in the comments, as I will be reading them all. After having explored each of the ingredients that can be added to the nighttime coffee, magnesium glycinate or citrate, natural cinnamon, glycine powder, unflavored hydrolyzed collagen, and pure unsweetened cocoa, it is essential to understand that the final effect does not depend on just one alone, but on the synergy that is created when these elements are combined consciously and strategically. It is not simply about drinking coffee with an additive. It is about using the science of nutrients to optimize the body's function during the night, promoting deep rest and avoiding repetitive awakenings due to the need to urinate. The first key point is to understand that each ingredient provides a different mechanism of action on the organism, but all converge on the common goal of improving sleep quality and fluid regulation. For example, magnesium glycinate or citrate, even in small amounts, acts on the nervous and muscular systems, relaxing both the body and the bladder. Its calming effect allows the smooth muscles of the urinary tract to relax, decreasing the sensation of nighttime urgency. On the other hand, natural cinnamon not only adds flavor, but also has anti-inflammatory and vasodilatory properties that improve blood circulation and support glucose balance. An efficient circulatory system and stable glucose levels during the night are essential for the kidneys and bladder to function optimally, avoiding unnecessary stimuli that interrupt sleep. Glycine powder, taken in low doses before bed, acts directly on the central nervous system. This amino acid is known for its ability to modulate neurotransmitters and promote a state of deep relaxation. Glycine not only helps make sleep more restorative, but also collaborates in regulating renal function, helping the bladder not activate prematurely during the night. Additionally, glycine can be obtained from pharmacies or natural supplement stores, and its powder form facilitates exact dosing, making its integration into the nighttime routine practical and safe. Unflavored hydrolyzed collagen provides an additional benefit to connective tissues, including those surrounding the bladder and kidneys. Its regular consumption strengthens these structures, improves elasticity, and reduces micro-inflammations that could generate irritation or a sensation of pressure, two factors that often contribute to nighttime awakenings. By integrating it into the nighttime drink, its structural action combines with the relaxing and circulatory effects of the other ingredients, enhancing the overall synergy of the protocol. Pure, unsweetened cocoa completes this set by offering antioxidant and neuro-relaxing support. Its flavonoids and theobromine help maintain efficient circulation, relax the bladder muscles, and promote the production of neurotransmitters that encourage deep sleep. Its minimal dose ensures that no stimulating effects are introduced, while its antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties perfectly complement the actions of magnesium, glycine, and collagen. When analyzing all these elements together, it is evident that the approach is not drink coffee and expect miraculous results, but rather to build an optimal internal environment that prepares the body for uninterrupted sleep. Each ingredient has a specific role. Magnesium relaxes, cinnamon improves circulation, glycine regulates the nervous system, collagen strengthens tissues, and cocoa provides antioxidants and additional relaxation. When used consistently, even in small doses, these compounds work synergistically to reduce nighttime awakenings, improve bodily recovery, and optimize renal and bladder function. It is also important to keep in mind that this protocol does not replace sleep hygiene habits or healthy habits in general. Light eating at night, reducing fluids 2 hours before bed, maintaining an adequate room temperature, and avoiding luminous or electronic stimuli are complementary factors that enhance the action of the nutrients. The ingredients we have discussed function as natural support, but daily habits are the context in which the true benefits occur. Another crucial aspect is consistency in intake. The effects of magnesium, glycine, cinnamon, collagen, and cocoa are not immediate like those of a medication, but rather accumulate over time. Generally, a period of 2 to 4 weeks of regular consumption allows the body to adapt and observe a notable reduction in the frequency of nighttime awakenings. Keeping a personal sleep log, such as duration, awakenings, and perceived quality, helps evaluate the real effect of the ingredient combination and allows for adjustments as needed. Safety is another fundamental point. All the recommended ingredients are generally safe, but they should be used in the suggested doses. Excess magnesium can cause laxative effects, while larger amounts of cocoa could induce slight stimulation. Therefore, the key is to maintain moderation and regularity, ensuring that each compound fulfills its function without side effects. Professional guidance is always recommended if there are pre-existing medical conditions or if other medications are being taken. Beyond bladder function, this integral approach has additional benefits for muscle recovery, vascular health, and the nervous system. For example, glycine and collagen support tissue and joint regeneration, while cocoa and cinnamon protect the vascular endothelium and microcirculation. This means that the nighttime drink not only contributes to sleep and reducing urinary urgency, but also promotes the overall health of the organism during the night. To put this approach into practice, it is recommended to prepare a hot drink with decaffeinated coffee or an infusion, adding a small amount of magnesium glycinate or citrate, half a teaspoon of natural cinnamon, the recommended dose of glycine powder, unflavored hydrolyzed collagen, and a minimum of pure, unsweetened cocoa. The mixture should be integrated carefully, dissolving each ingredient properly to maintain a pleasant texture and flavor. Over time, the body will recognize this nighttime pattern as a stimulus to relax, decrease bladder activity, and maintain deep and restorative sleep. The conclusion of this entire approach is that the combination of these 5 ingredients, magnesium, cinnamon, glycine, collagen, and cocoa, acts in an integral and complementary way to improve sleep quality, reduce nighttime awakenings, and protect bladder function during the night. It is not a miraculous remedy, but a natural and safe protocol that, along with healthy habits, allows the organism to work efficiently while resting. Each ingredient has a specific role, and their joint action creates a synergistic effect that goes beyond simple individual intake. This approach reflects how strategic nutrition can support critical physiological processes such as fluid regulation, muscle relaxation, circulation, and nervous system function. By integrating this knowledge, anyone can significantly improve their nighttime rest and, with it, their overall well-being, demonstrating that small natural adjustments in the routine can have a profound impact on quality of life. And if you want to know more about it, go now and watch the next video we have prepared for you. The content of this channel uses characters for educational and informational purposes, based on public sources, studies, and general research. It does not intend to diagnose, treat, or replace professional medical recommendations. Each person is different. Always consult with your trusted doctor before applying any advice related to health, nutrition, supplements, or exercises.